Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on African Confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to, it was sent to me by one of our dear brother. Strange things indeed they do happen in this world. The message that he sent to me reads like this. Hello, how are you, Brother Nanshi? My name is Gibson, not his real name. For nearly a decade, I lived a life that I am not proud of. So from 2002 to 2011, the first time that I went to South Africa, it was in the late 2000. That was when I started working for this other company as a truck driver. So I was traveling between Zim in South Africa. That was when I met a man who was a Sangoma. And even by the time that I started operating and working as a Malaysia, so I was working and I was moving goods between Zim and South Africa. I had my own wife here back home, and like many men from my village, I was just trying to make ends meet. But what I did to survive, it haunts me to this very day. After I had started working as a Malaysia, that was when the man told me that he had some precious cargo that he wanted to be transported from my country going to his country. We then agreed on the price. The first time around, I thought that they were just animal bones, because he just said that there were some bones that he wanted from my country and they were supposed to be taken to South Africa. And he made it seem as if I will be transporting the bones of a baboon or of a monkey. So in 2002, I was really struggling, trying to provide for my family. I had been moving goods across the border for years and years, but the money was never enough. I kept on speaking with this man, and he told me that there are times when he does come to Zim and he always collects his precious cargo, but he was saying that he did not want to do that anymore. He wanted to work with me. So I said, as long as I won't be transporting any drugs for him, I was going to be okay. That was my first mistake, because he showed me the money. Have you ever had a job whereby you are paid months in advance? Whilst we were speaking, that was when he said, wait, let me just give you something. So this money that I am going to give you, it is for a job that you are going to be doing for me in the future. I will tell you when the time is right. I gladly accepted the money because I really needed the money. He explained that he needed someone whom he could trust to transport special cargo into South Africa. He did not say what it was at first, only that it was something that had a high value and that I would be paid handsomely. And I was wary at the first time, but the thought of extra income overpowered my hesitation. He told me to come back to his place each and every week, and he said that once you come to my place, I am going to be giving you some charms so that you can get more customers. So this was like a win-win situation. He was going to become my new boss, a boss that cared for my small business. The next time when I returned back to him, that was when he led me into a dark hut at the edge of his compound. When we got in there, that was when he showed me a lot of glass bottles, and he said that he wanted me to grab at least some of these glass bottles. So we then placed them in a crate and we loaded them into my car. He said that I was supposed to return them back to Zim, and he gave me some phone numbers of these other men whom I was supposed to contact. This man, I was supposed to meet him in Maringo. He said that once you arrive in your country, then this man you will know and you will be able to track you. So I loaded all those glass bottles and I returned with them back to Zim. When I was in Masvingo, I went to this other phone shop, because back in those days we did not have these mobile phones. If you wanted to call anyone, you had to go to a phone booth. I went there and I called this man, and he then came and he collected those glass bottles, and there were things that were inside but I could not understand. He told me that within a couple of days I was supposed to come and collect whatever that I had to collect. I returned back and we met again in Masvingo town, and then he gave me a bag. It was a bag that was full of things that I still did not know at that time, since I had not opened it up. He told me that if I wanted to open, then I was supposed to use some charms before I had opened that traveling bag that he had given to me. When I arrived back in the village where I was staying with my wife, I then told my wife that I had been given this bag that I was supposed to travel with back to South Africa. She was skeptical and she was like, "Did you open it up when you were still with that man?" And I said, "No, I did not do that." She then said that it was a wise decision for me to open up that bag. Otherwise, maybe there were things that were there that were going to get me arrested. So I took that small container that had the charms that he had told me to use whenever I think about opening the bag. I then took the charms and I followed the instructions that he had given to me. And then I saw that there were bones that were in there. So me and my wife, we just thought that maybe they were animal bones, since this traditional healer in South Africa was using some bones at his consultation room. Indeed, I had seen a lot of those bones. So I carried my bag with me to South Africa and I handed over the bag. This man, since he had already paid me, he had to give me another loan. So I was always being paid in advance. That is how this man trapped me into always owing him a lot of money, because he had first paid me in advance. Later on, that was when this man told me that these bones that I was carrying, these were human bones. When he revealed to me that these were human bones, I felt my stomach turning and I wanted to leave this. But since I was owing this man a lot of money, he told me that all that I was supposed to do was to carry on what I was doing. For these bones, he said, they were part of his work. They were necessary for his rituals when creating these tokologies. So I asked him, how exactly were they getting these bones? But he could not provide me a clear answer. To this very day, that is what haunts me. I have been transporting the bones of the people that had died, but I have no idea as to how these bones were collected. Sometimes I tell myself that maybe they would go and they would dig up the graves and then they will collect the bones. Who knows? But I just feel as if even those people that died and they had their graves dug up, maybe their spirits, they are also restless and they are also fighting against me. So many nights I cry unto God and I am like, God, please do not punish my own children or my grandchildren for the sins that I committed of transporting human bones from one country to another just because I was being paid a lot of money. I am a man that is always terrified to be alone. I am a man who always feel trapped. I am a man who did such an evil thing. My wife, even though she later found out that these bones that I was transporting, they were human bones, she urged me on and she reminded me of the things that we still needed to achieve in life. She said, if you have to do this, my husband, just do it for the sake of our child, since we had our own daughter who was in university at that time. So I have been following your confessions on all channels and I just thought that let me share with you my own story. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our brother. He was like, when you see someone driving their car, just know that they might be even carrying anything that can shock you in their car. He used to transport human bones from Zim to South Africa. Strange things indeed they do happen in this world.